Hey everyone, how's everything going? Welcome to this week's laser live stream. My name is Gil Posnanski. Welcome again. It's been a little bit, it's been a bit of a crazy couple of weeks. I do apologize. This live stream has been bumped from last week to this week. Unfortunately, I had a little bit of an accident and needed to take a little bit of time off, but it is awesome to be back. Let me just tell you guys, I totally miss it when we don't catch up. This is kind of like my laser time. Now, normally I'm doing laser stuff for other people. Here, I get to do it for us. I get to do it for me and I get to do it for you. So thank you so much for coming on board. I am so glad to be back. I'm so glad all of you are here. If you're in the chat room, I'd love it if you come out and say hello, because this is what it's all about. We're building a community here, both on YouTube and on Facebook, and this community is centered around laser cutting, and specifically both the Emblazer range of laser cutters from Darkly Labs and of course Lightburn. And that's what we're going to be talking about today here. We're going to go and start a new series which we're going to look into. We're going to do a bit of a deep dive into Lightburn. We're going to start by looking at some of the upgrades. We're going to do that a little bit after we do a kind of a basic rundown on what Lightburn's all about. And if you're a brand new user to Lightburn, or if you're someone who's used it for some time, I hope you'll both be able to grab something out of this because as I was preparing for it, I kept saying to myself, wow, I didn't know Lightburn could do that, or wow, that's a feature I'm going to use in the future. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. I also want to acknowledge this stream has been very, very lucky enough to actually get sponsored. It's pretty amazing. So I want to thank both Darkly Labs, which is the home of the Emblazer range, as well as Lightburn software, which runs the Emblazer and has been used on countless thousands of machines, have both teamed together to make these live streams possible. And I'm incredibly, incredibly appreciative. If you haven't checked out their sites, definitely go and check them out. It's awesome. The latest news is there. I know, you know what, I was kind of like today, I was like, you know what it is today? Today's April Fool's Day. I could really get some people into trouble, but you know what? That only happens before 12 o'clock. So we're 6 p.m. here. We're not going to talk about any rumors or anything like that. But if you haven't checked them out, check out those sites, both at Darkly Labs and at Lightburn. Because you know what? Regardless of whether they sponsor me or not, these are the two key pieces that come together to make the incredible laser cutter that a lot of people have had experience with. Let's go into the chat room really quickly, and I see Dominic from Darkly Labs. Jeez, he's here. And I knew that because I said hello to him. Audrey from Melbourne is here as well. How are you doing, Audrey? I'm glad you're able to join us again. Mike from Queensland. How you doing, Mike? It's great to see you. Hope everything's going well with the family. If you guys remember a couple of live streams back, Mike joined us, or actually it was the last one. He's been here a couple of times, and he's working well with the Emblazer core, cutting acrylic and making remote control vehicles out of it. I love it when I see his stuff, because you know what? It inspires me to go and make my stuff, so it's kind of cool. And Malcolm from Gypsy, who's a new person coming to the live stream. Thank you so much for coming in, Malcolm, and I look forward to having your interaction here on the live stream. So one of the things that I want to just point out, this is something that I've been trying to work on today. It's not going to really be an issue with the live stream, but there's a little bit of a delay. There's about a 30-second delay right now. It's unfortunately something that's out of my hands. It's got to do with the incredible internet here in Australia. So if you get your questions in and there's a little bit of a delay for me answering it, please. It's not because I'm ignoring you, it's just simply because I need, I'll answer it in real time, but it'll take about half a minute before you actually get that answer. So just to be aware of that. So, one of the things that I want to do for this year, for 2021, is I really want to set the intentions of what this live stream is all about and what this community is all about. So I'm going to go through these absolutely every time at the start of our stream, so everyone knows what's going on, and hopefully you'll come along on the ride with me as well. So our first intention is to actually build a creative, interactive laser community. There's nothing like knowing something and not being able to share it. And in fact, that's how we grow, and that's how we learn not only how to use our equipment, but what is possible. The second intention is to support all laser users. You don't have to be an Emblazer user, you don't have to be a Lightburn user. But if you're interested in using this technology to be creative, we want to support you. And obviously we do have a focus on the Emblazer and the Lightburn range, but that doesn't mean that if you've got a home laser, or if you're working in a manufacturing plant and you have access to a laser, that cuts you out. We want to support all laser users everywhere. My third intention with this stream is to actually share the knowledge that I have, and share the knowledge that I've gained over the last couple of years working in this area, and also be able to share that on to you, because you know what? No one isn't the ultimate expert in anything. All we do is go on a journey and be able to share what it is that we learn. And the last intention for this stream is to learn from everyone. The examples that you guys make constantly inspire me to go out and play with my laser cutter and try new things. And in fact, I think it's really important to be able to work in an area that isn't a vacuum. It isn't something that is just, yourself by yourself, because what ends up happening is you're successful in one area, and then you keep repeating, you keep iterating, but you don't actually push outside of the framework, just a little bit like the framework that I'm in right now. So I'm going to pop that out. That's a little bit better. I thought, whoa, geez, Skill. You're talking about it being a framework, and you were in one. So that's exactly what we want to do here on the live stream. And the live stream is a smaller part of the wider community. So you might be asking yourself right now, it's like, how do I get involved, Gil? I'm watching you, but what's this mean, this community? Is it just you talking to us? Or, is it a bit of a two-way street? So I want to go through some of the ways that you can get involved. First of all, you can hit that subscribe button and you can to support this project. Believe it or not, as interested in this subject as you may be, we're up against lots and lots of YouTubers. So one of the ways you can do it is actually hit the subscribe button on this channel. Or if you go down to the bottom corner here, you'll see a little photo of me, this mug, and it'll say subscribe. If you hit that, that'll allow you to subscribe to the channel. And that gives us better analytics to get this message out further and wider. So first of all, please hit that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already. Now, the next thing you can do is you can chat. Don't be afraid to converse during the live streams. I have right over here, as well as physically in my room, I have a big screen right there where I can see your chat and ask questions. I love it when you guys interact with me. Otherwise I'm talking into a camera, and as much as I love doing that, I can do that in my bathroom. I can do that, in my bedroom without speaking to you guys. But I love it when you guys are talking to us, when you're interacting. Do not think that this is just a one-way presentation. I know that when I first started live streaming, the first live stream I ever went into, I asked a question and someone actually answered it in real time. I was like, sorry guys, I didn't mean to interrupt you. No, that's what we want here. We want you to be as active as possible, and we can do that in the live stream. The other way you can do it is you can email us. Maybe you've got a project that you want us to feature here on the live stream. We have an email, which is laser.livestream@gmail.com. And the other area that we are very active in is in Facebook. So if you go to www.facebook.com/group/laserlivestream, you're able to interact not just with me, but with everyone who happens to be, connected by the live streams and by our community. And that's a great place to ask questions, see what other people are doing, get some inspiration, or just make a new friend. And I think that all those things are really relevant here on the live stream. Let's go quickly back to the chat room, because I see Everton Engineering from Claire and Peter from Melbourne have come in. How cool is that? I think, are you guys new? Is this the first time you've been to the stream, or maybe you were lurking? Either way, thank you so much for coming on board. I love seeing you. And Mike's actually wishing everyone a happy Easter. I guess it is, right? Maybe it'll be a little quieter. Maybe we'll get even more people. I have no idea. But yes, you guys, happy Easter. For everyone in Australia right now, you're on vacation. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 4-day weekend. That's... Maybe you got, what? I think I'm going to go play with my laser cutter, but that's just me. I'm a geek. So, so it's good to see everyone here. That is awesome. Awesome. All right. So let's also talk about, I'm working out what we're going to do here today. I think I have this set up. No, I don't. But what we're going to do is it's going to be a little bit of a heavy Lightburn session here. What we're going to do is we're going to go through some of the basics, and that will be the first part of our Lightburn deep dive. Before we do that, we're going to go and showcase some Blazor users, some of the projects they've made in the last couple of weeks. And after that, we're also going to go through, and I'm going to discuss some of the Lightburn updates for the latest version of Lightburn. I'm not going to go through all of them. Some of them are very, very specific, but some of them are incredibly powerful. And I'm really, really looking forward to being able to introduce you to some of those things. I'm blown away by what Lightburn does. Forget the sponsorship and all the rest of it. I would say the same thing regardless. I've been using Lightburn now for a number of years. The innovations that they put into their software is not only great for their software, but also for the functionality of any laser machine. The Blazor has become an incredible die cutting machine with their print and cut feature, which was introduced a few versions ago. Right now, I don't want to give it away, but there's some amazing things that you guys are going to be totally blown away. And welcome, Claire and Peter. I'm glad you guys have been able to join us. Hopefully, you'll also join the Facebook group and maybe even follow the channel. The last thing I was going to say is, if you get something out of this, if you really enjoy what's going on and you want to help support this, not just by clicking those buttons, you can also do so by using what they call a super chat here on YouTube. You can give a donation, or if you go down into the description area below, there's a one-time PayPal link that allows you to donate something to the channel. Just to let you know that everything that comes into the channel is go straight back into working on projects for the Emblazer. It's materials. Sometimes it's getting a few little pieces to keep the machine up and running. So feel free if you're so inclined, and we appreciate everyone who's come forward and given, whether it's a small amount or a big amount. Every time one of those super chats or donation comes in, I kind of feel someone going, Gil, we like what you're doing, keep it up, and it's very inspiring. Does anyone have video yet? Now, that's a good question. Have you guys, so Dom has got video, Audrey has video, that's okay. Interesting that Dom hasn't. Maybe, let me go into the chat room. I can, everything okay. Video's working, if you mean the live stream. I'm gonna say here, Dom, refresh. There you go, Dom's, poor Dom. One of my sponsors can't watch the live stream. So that's kind of funny. Refresh your browser. I've got to make sure that he can see what's going on. Otherwise he's going to be like, why are we sponsoring this thing? I can't even see it. Mal can see it as well. So that's I'm not too sure what's going on Dom's side, but that's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but you know what I'm saying. We'll keep going on with the show, and I'm sure Dom will work it out. He's a smart guy. He's the brains behind the Emblazer too. I'm sure he'll be able to work out YouTube. So it's kind of cool. Guys, let's jump into it. Let's look at some of the projects that have come up in the last 2 weeks, or really 3 weeks here. So let's check out the first one. This is Deb, and Deb made this amazing coffee bar sign. I believe that this is actually out of thick black card. And again, you can see the detail of the work that's put in there. Amazing kind of work. And it's always interesting to be able to see what people are using their Emblazers for. This sign is quite intricate. I like the actual design. One of the things you got to keep in mind, and you can see it quite clearly here on this design in this project, is that everything has to be connected. I remember doing my first sign, and everything were individual letters, and they all fell apart. So you know what? It's kind of great to be able to see that one welded piece, and we're going to actually show you how to weld different pieces together in Lightburn in a little bit. So that was the first piece from Deb. Let's move on. And this is Mike. Mike's in the chat room. Maybe he can tell us about this, but Mike's been playing with tiles, spraying, I believe, tiles. Is that a black tile and spraying it white? Is that what's going on there? I think that might be it, because usually you have white tiles and they go black, but you've got these amazing borders. Actually, that's probably the way you've done it, right? Mike will jump in and tell us. He's got a white tile, and he's sprayed it black, and you can see the original image of the Harley Davidson. I think it's Harley Davidson, and then you can see this is a very interesting rendition on tiles. And I know that Mike started working on this project of getting images engraved on tiles. Really, I mean, this is a new project for him. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of the other versions of tiles that he'll make. I know this is something that I've been working on for a little while myself, and I'll show you guys some of that in a future live stream. We'll talk all about being able to take images and engraving them on tiles. But that was great work by Mike. Thank you for sharing it. Now, Adrian's a new user, or at least he's been new to the Facebook group, and he's been doing a lot of a white white paint. Interesting. All right, Mike, I'm going to talk to you about that. Hold on a second before we move on. White tile, white paint. Let me go back. I'm going to try and work this one out. So you got a white tile, white paint, and you're burning the image on using the laser. Mike, try painting the tile white and then inverting the image. Not that I know, but try that one. Just try one of them out. Invert the image, paint the top of the tile black, and then see what comes out. I think you might be able to get some awesome results out of that. Dominic's back. That looks awesome, Mike. It does look awesome. I never thought of using white paint on a white tile. A little bit curious as to where the black comes in, and I'm assuming you're burning the paint a little bit for that image. You know what? Maybe we'll just have to get Mike back on to talk about it. That's not a problem. Let's move forward. You got me intrigued. Awesome. I wish we had a voice channel. You know what? Maybe in the future we'll get people to be able to come in and actually call into the show. We'll do it radio callback style. We'll be able to go, Mike, get on there. We've got to talk about it. As I was saying before, Adrian built this incredible model of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. all the black stuff that you can see has been laser cut, has been. So that's kind of awesome. You can see the 3D printed kind of pillars on the side. And I've got a feeling that Adrian's got a bit of a background in architecture, because what he did was he ended up putting that in a shadow box. And that piece came out unbelievably well. That is some intricate work, something you could only do on a laser. I believe it's acrylic, but I'm not too sure on that. Maybe Adrian will watch, and what I love is that sometimes people pick up and watch the laser live streams after, and then what we end up getting is messages on in the discussion below. So we may get an answer from Adrian. I really do invite him to come on and discuss some of his work. He does some amazing work. He also created this piece for a golf house, and again put it in a frame, what they call a shadow box with a little bit of depth, and amazing work you can see there being made by his emblazer. I believe again that's acrylic, white acrylic, so that is really, really cool stuff. Really, really cool. Look at that. And then Laura has started playing with cutting out kind of shapes that obviously make up designs. You can see a whale, a giraffe, and a tiger. And what I love about that sort of stuff is that she's putting color behind it. And Laura says she's just playing, but I think to myself, man, this is an amazing idea. Again, something that I probably wouldn't have thought of myself, the idea of being able to use a cutout and then kind of fill it with color from behind. But that's actually sparked off a few ideas I have, not in the same way, but maybe I can start using light and use some LEDs to start throwing light on silhouettes to make these kind of images come to life. Something I'm going to play with in the future and hope I can show you. But Laura, this is amazing work, and it takes someone to think out of the box like this to inspire other people to go forward and be able to create some really amazing pieces of art. You know, it almost has like a stamp feel to it. Audrey loves the giraffe. I can totally understand that. The colors as well, you know, are really amazing. I like I was going to say the orca, but it's the whale is very cool too. But I think what is outstanding about the giraffe is the color blend in it. It's really, really nicely done. And you know what? Again, every time I go past and I see things that people create, I'm like, I got to show that. I got to show that to a whole bunch of people, because you know what? That's where inspiration comes from. It's being able to see what other people make, kind of bring your own message, your own narrative to it, kind of mix it up or use the technique in a different way, and then be able to start that cycle all over again. So thank you so much, Laura, for sharing that sort of stuff on Facebook. And again, I know that when you posted it, you're saying, just playing around. But boy, you know, you're right. When you play, that's when you make incredible breakthroughs. So that is amazing. Thank you so much. All right, so at this point, that's what we've got to show and tell. Now, I've got to apologize. I have a video that was sent to me by one of our users. She made this incredible box. It's actually some scissors and a box. I had it all prepared. I've got it all sitting here. And unfortunately, in the rush, because of a technical problem, I wasn't able to get it. So if you guys will, well, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to do it while I go along, but are you guys cool for me to go and pull this video out? It's a video that was actually made specifically for us. I missed it on the first one, and I really don't want to miss it this time. I'm kind of kicking myself just a little bit because it is just an incredible piece of work, and I want to show it to you. But it's going to take me about a second to go and dig it out of my the internet as such. Give me 1 second here, and I'm going to see whether or not I can do this. I really hope I can, because it is just an amazing piece. It's all ready to go, and all I forgot was where it actually is. So you know what they say? Sometimes they say, speak about it amongst yourself. But, you know, I actually realized that it's on my other machine. So that's kind of weird. Give me a second here, guys. In fact, you know what? I'm going to ask you guys a question. One of the things that I want to do is I want to show workplaces. I want to show you your workplace where you've set up your emblazers and your lasers. So in the chat room, let me know where have you set up your laser. And I'm giving you guys a head start to take photos and post them on Facebook of where you've got them set up. But while I'm doing this, love it if you go into the chat room and talk about, you know, where you've set it up and why. Is it in a spare room? Is it in a garage? Is it out in a shed? Is it in a classroom? You know, discuss it amongst yourself while I kind of waffle on. But we're going to see what we can do. Excellent. This is where is it? Where is it? I know I set you up. Okay. Oh, Ellen. I really messed this up, and I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, it's not there. Let me go and see if I can find it here. I know it's in here. I know it. No, it's not there. Wow. Okay, let's that's the problem when you have some people in the chat room answering. Made a small man cave in your garage, said Mike. After seeing the Blazor 2 and the Design and Technology Teachers Association of Queensland's conference a couple of years ago, I got excited. Glad to hear that, Mal. And looking forward to get my own Blazor core and the possibilities I can see are far between my initial simplistic ideas. Guys, I have lost the file. I am so sorry. Elaine, I want you to know that I have been blown away by the work that you've made. I put it into a safe place. I forgot it last time. I didn't forget it today, but I misplaced it. I apologize. It will be played. It will be played first thing next live stream. I do apologize. The last thing I want to do is actually, have anyone think that the work that they're sending in is not going, is being ignored. It's a great video piece. It was a Christmas present for her sister, I believe. It is an amazing project, and I'm going to bring that to you guys later. And in fact, maybe I'll even put it up on the Facebook thing, as long as Elaine's happy for me to do that. I do apologize for that. Sometimes. I forget things. I'm a human being. You know what's going on. I apologize about that, guys. We're going to jump straight back into it, and we will definitely get that in the near future. It's just that I don't want to spend the next 10 minutes trying to work out where I put this final file safely for everyone, and then I forgot to put it in. So we'll see. There you go. See, Dom saying I'm fired already. There you go. Well, that's the stream, guys. I'll catch you later. If I never speak to you guys again, I'll see you on Facebook. Well, maybe that's the... that's the April Fool's joke or not, but we'll definitely get that out there. And you know what? I would love Elaine to be able to come in and talk about her project. Maybe we can get her to do that too. And I hope she doesn't think that I've forgotten about it. How about we jump into what we're going to talk about right now, and that happens to be Lightburn. Lightburn is the piece of software that runs the Blazor cores and the Blazor 2s. It's a great piece of software. If you've ever used it in Blazor, you're going to be familiar with part of it. We're going to run a series, and we're going to take one aspect every stream. We're going to go into it, and what we're going to be calling the Lightburn deep dive. But today, I want to go through some of the basics of it so that everyone understands the areas and just the basic understanding of how Lightburn works and how it's set up so that we can go into these deep dives. So that's what we're going to do today. As you can see here, Lightburn deep dive. Lightburn is basically a layout, editing, and control software for your laser cutter. Why is that important? Well, traditionally, any sort of design stuff you had to do it in a different type of software. So you would go and use something like Illustrator or Corel Draw, and you would actually design your design, and you would either then print it out to the printer, or you would take it into a piece of software that you would actually be connected to your laser cutter. I said printer, I meant laser cutter. And then you would actually put in the different powers, feeds, rates, and all the rest of it. And it made it very, very sloppy. You had one piece of software that kind of might have had some very simple design features that allowed you to take that drawing and bring it in, but it wasn't really an area where you could actually create projects in, and it was definitely not coupled with the advanced features of Lightburn. Now, okay, that's really cool. Averton said they just recently assembled a Blazor core, yet to locate a permanent location. Need to consider a fume extractor. Very good. You know what? I love all about that. Audrey saying no, and Mike saying looking forward to seeing Lane's work, which I'm telling you, you guys will be blown away by it. Now, Lightburn Basics. These are some of the biggest attributes to Lightburn. It basically imports artwork from a variety of common vector graphics and image formats, including AI, which is the Adobe Illustrator, PDFs, SVGs, which are scalable vector graphics, DFXs, PLTs, PNGs, JPEGs, GIFs, and PMGs. You have as much option as you want to bring in artwork into Lightburn, which is pretty amazing. You can also arrange, edit, and even create new vector shapes within the editor within Lightburn. You can also apply different settings of power, speed, numbers of passes, cut orders, and a whole lot of other options when it comes to actually running the design with your laser cutter. You can also send it directly to your laser cutter. You don't have a third party. You don't have to go and be worried about whatever is going to happen there. And what I really like about Lightburn is that every version of Lightburn is written specifically either for Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. It's not ported. It is actually one of these really, really cool things where they actually have developed a Windows version, a Mac OS version, and a Linux version. And that is awesome stuff. It truly is. If you ever used programs that have, let's say, started on Windows and ported out to a Mac or ported it out into Linux, they have inherent issues because the translation program sometimes makes errors. That's not something that's going to happen with Lightburn because they have dedicated coders that are working on these different versions. Now, I use a version on the Mac. It's a little bit different on some of the layout, but I'm going to show that to you in a second. And what I want to introduce you to is something you'd be very familiar with. But again, I want to cover all the bases, and that happens to be the Lightburn interface layout. And this is in its default mode. So you've got a number of areas, such as the design tool areas, design tool menu, which is on the left-hand side. You've got in the main area, you've got the work area. Down below, you've got the layers. So we're going to definitely be looking at that very, very shortly. And we're also, at the top, we've got the control bar for the program as well as the control windows. So what we're going to do is I'm going to jump into my Mac that's sitting right here. I'm going to hold my breath. I'm going to actually see whether or not I can get this happening without it actually glitching, because I realized I had to do a quick reset before the stream started. So I just have to go and just double check that it's working, and it is. Fantastic. Let's jump over to the Mac, and I'm going to talk you through the different areas of Lightburn. Mike's also saying in the chat room, before we do that, let's just go quickly back here. And then Mike was saying that he made a case for his core with an inline hydroponics fan for extraction. Very clever. And I believe Mike also used the lid section from a E2 so that he doesn't have to wear glasses when he's using his core, which again is a really, really smart way. Although I'm sure it was cheaper than actually getting an E2, but if you have to worry about eye protection, if you've got lots of people in there, the Emblazer 2 is built on those safety features. So let's jump over to the Mac and let's jump into Lightburn. All right, so here we are with Lightburn. I'm just turning around, and you can see here, basically this is the basic screen. I'm going to start on the left-hand side, and you can see here, one of the things that I love about Lightburn, and I think it's a very smart thing, is that if you hover your mouse over something, it'll actually tell you what is going on. And these tools are probably pretty familiar, but I'm going to go through some of the new ones, and we'll talk about some of those other newer features a little bit later as well. But I want to show you exactly what's going on. So in here, we have the select. So right now that we've got nothing on the board, but if I wanted to go and click the rectangle tool, I've now created a rectangle. A lot of people, a lot of new users, especially to Lightburn, they get very frustrated. They're like, okay, I want to move this thing now. So they'll kind of grab it and they're like, no, I don't want another box. I want to move this, and they'll go, oh, cool, I can move that here, which is great, because what's actually happened is, in that case, let me tell you what happened. When I did the second box, I hit the escape button, and by hitting that escape button, it's selected the select straight away. So if we go up here and you see select, it says escape just there. I don't know if you can see that, it's very small, but the escape button defaults to the select. So if I'm back in here, there's nothing, I can't drag this around until I select the select button. And then by clicking that, I have a whole bunch of options. I can resize it. I can resize the whole shape, or I can go up and just resize one side or the other side. And I can do that for all 4 sizes. And I can actually, I've got a lever here that I can actually start moving that box around. So in a very short period of time, if you have to, let's say, cut a piece out and you know the dimensions, you can just come in here, you can select that box. Now, if you take a look at this box selected, and up here, you actually have the width and the height. Now, on my copy, I always unlink those, but if I actually were to change this and I knew that the width was 150, you can see that it actually changed the height at the same time. But if I click that off and I go 325, check out what happens now. The height stayed at 125.233. So you have a lot of flexibility here. And of course, if you don't like it, you make a mistake, just Command Z, so undo, will actually allow you to do that as well. And we'll be using that quite a bit. So that is the first tool, which is the rectangle tool. But there's actually a tool above that I want to show you now that we've got something on the board, and that is the draw line tool. So I can grab this and I can make just one line. And I can continue just, I'm using snapping right now to create it. Now, the tool will allow me to draw any sort of shapes that I want. You can see it's attached by hitting that escape. And in this case, it doesn't jump down to the select. It's just allowed me to disattach myself. So you can see here, I'm starting to build a shape. And I'm going to extend this one out here. And I want a single one out here too. Now, this is not a shape that I can cut because on here, I'm just going to have to seal it up. I'm going to see what we can do there. And as you can see here, this is the shape that I want to cut as a line. And you can see in the preview window we're going to talk about, but this is something that I absolutely love in so many different ways. Now, if I were to select this piece, you can see I've selected only that triangle. If I select this piece, I am only selecting that piece, and you can see I'm moving it around. We're going to go to and discuss why that does that and how you can actually turn it all into one shape very soon. But I just want to give you the heads up right now that you can select pieces, and as long as they're connected, you're able to grab them. You can see this piece is actually not connected all the way. So, you know, it's again, the way Lightburn works very intuitively is it can tell you very quickly whether or not you've got a shape that is cuttable, that is complete, and I really enjoy it. Let me go quickly and just, I'm going to delete some of these by getting the select and just dragging it along. And you can see if you don't drag right across the box, it doesn't select it, which is a bit of a bummer. So, and it's actually, you can do this quite creatively. I only want to do that top triangle. So instead of dragging it all the way across and selecting all of it, I can actually just drag enough and select those areas. So let's go back to the box, and I'm just hitting delete here. So we've got the rectangle or the box command. We also have a round command. Now you can see here, this is not really a circle. This is becoming a bit of an ellipse. By holding down the shift key, we can snap that circle, and it'll have all the dimensions. If I let go of it, I can extend it any way that I want it to be extended. So by dragging the mouse down, I can create an ellipse that is vertical, or I can pull it around horizontally. I can make whatever shape that I want, click it, and then again with the select, move it around. So I can actually, you know, I can integrate shapes this way as well as the circle, which, it's the create ellipse command. I have another command down here, which is called the regular polygon. So let me click that, and we're going to make, sorry, I'm getting punchy today. So here is my polygon, and this is kind of interesting. It just makes a regular polygon, but you also have an option up here in the window to go and take a look at shape properties. So if I pull up shape properties, and you can see it here, it also allows me in this shape to work out how many sides I want. So I can click on 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Of course, the more sides you put on, the rounder that shape is going to be. But what you can actually do is, if you have a shape, it's going to start off as with 5 sides or 6 sides. You can make it a 5. Maybe you're doing a pentagon. Maybe that's what you want, or maybe you need 8 sides. You have that ability to do that within Lightburn, which again is really kind of cool. And of course, you can change the angle of it. So if you wanted to make some sort of number or button, not number. If you want to make a button, or you want to make a piece that maybe you want to cut out for a kid's toy, and you want to have different shapes, so one shape will fit in, one won't. This is a great tool to be able to do that. So check that out. That is a really, really cool. And they call that here the regular polygon. Now, below that, there's a command which is called edit node. Now, we're going to pass I'm not going to discuss edit node right now, or nodes. It's a high level function tool. We're going to do a whole deep dive into nodes and how to edit them. So I'm going to pass that on that right now, but I'm going to grab another ellipse and I'm going to show you the tool underneath it, which is again another very brand new tool. I'm going to show you the name of it too, and it's called Add Tabs. Now, this is a tool that's only been around for a couple of versions. It threw a lot of people off because when they upgraded, there was a default for tabs to be set, and they were cutting things out and going, why isn't these pieces being able to connect, right? Sorry, drop out. Why are they still connected to the piece that I cut out? And that was because they were using the place tabs, and this allows you to actually put markers on a piece that when you cut them out, it actually jumps over that area and allows you to cut out the shape without it falling out of the material. And this is really, really handy when you might be cutting an array of pieces. And I've had this happen myself where just through the movement of the machine, a piece might slide under where another piece is being cut. And of course, the laser gets caught up and ends up scoring the piece that's finished. I've actually, when I was making my space badges, there was a number of pieces that happened. And of course, because they were making 24 pieces at the same time, I didn't want to finish that process because at the time I couldn't restart the machine from a certain point. So I let it go and I lost, I think, 2 or 3 of them. If I had had this tab functionality, I would have actually put a tab. Well, I wouldn't have put that tab in there, but I would have put it. Would have put a tab in there and a tab in there. Oh, I just lost it. And I would have just, that's interesting. I've never actually tried to delete the tab. So I guess, can you jump them out? I don't know. Has anyone actually removed tabs before? Maybe this is a Dominic thing. Yes, you can use the Boolean tool for that. Let me go quickly check at lots of people are talking in the chat room. Unfortunately, I can't see my screen here as well as the chat room, but it's okay. Everton says it runs on Ubuntu as well. Fantastic. I didn't know that. Thank you so much, Everton. And Malcolm was saying to Mike, great for an idea. I'm yet to order a core in readiness. I'm looking forward to things that other people have done. An extra tip, hover over the button and hit the F1. It takes you to the document page for that button. I didn't know that at all. That's awesome. Now, my trick here now is, let's go and see. There you go, 100%. That is you know what, Dom, thank you so much. I didn't even know that you could do that. So let's go. So as I said, I'm trying it here. So let's see, we've got the mouse selection, drag modes, zoom, delete, backspace, or delete key. So let's go and see. Can we delete this? Nope, I deleted the whole piece. But can I delete it that way? No, can't do it that way. I'm doing something wrong. I apologize, guys. But anyway, either way, you know what? Let me just show you exactly what I was talking about before. So what we can do here is, if this is a badge, what I would have done is I would have selected one node here and one node there, and then at the end just broken those off after the whole thing, the whole process was finished. It would have saved me from having to go and do an extra amount of work. Everton's asking, can you make a DFX import recognize the DFX layers? Very good question. Dragging up will select the whole shape you've touched, says Damien. I agree. Damien, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, but it's good to see you. Now, I'm not too sure about the DXF imports. I will definitely try it, but I haven't actually tried using DFX. I usually use Photoshop of all things and bring them into Lightburn, but that's something I'll definitely look at, and we can definitely answer it in the near future. Malcolm's asking, can you cut out overlaying parts of a shape? We'll definitely be discussing that in a second, Malcolm. I'll show you how you can do that. And you can use Boolean Tools for that, says Mike. In fact, we're going to be talking about that in 1 second. Double click on the tab to remove it. All right, let's go and see. Yep, 100%. Dom, thank you so much, man. I don't know why I was having a blank on that. So let's say we put too many in here and we decide we're not going to do it. It's just quickly a double. You see, learning all the time. That's what the live stream's all about. Thank you so much, Dominic. So that is the tabs function. It's kind of fun. Definitely use this. I know that if you're using the basic, kind of the starter basic version of Lightburn, they will put in 2 tabs. I don't know how many times I've answered questions from people who are like, why doesn't this work? Why isn't it not working? It usually is, a way to turn that off is actually to go to the advanced settings, and they're like, okay, now it's all working, it's safe. The next tool is actually the text tool, or the create text edit. And you can see here, it allows you to put in any, it'd be nice if I could actually spell, any kind of word that you want. And it's kind of great. You can spell whatever you want to do. You can size it up. You can flip it around. You can actually even put this on a path, which we'll be discussing a little bit later. And if you ever need to edit something, like, you know, you're a great speller like I am, you can actually just go straight back in there, and we can change world to, you know, hello, Dominic. I wonder if Dominic ever had an laser write his name out for the first time. Maybe instead of world, it's like, hello, father. We'll see what goes on there. And I actually see, look, I even spelled that wrong. So that's me spelling it in a completely indirect way. So again, if you want to make labels, if you want to work with anything like that, it's a very, very fast way to be able to do that. And again, I'm going to show you guys how you can put it on even on a different layer, so that you can control that. You can put all your artwork in. So if I was going to make this, let's say, a badge, I could put this in here like that. I could quickly grab my tabs and put a tab in here and a tab in here, so I could just break that out later on. And we might keep this and show you guys what else we can do with this. We're gonna, you know, since Dominic is actually taking the time to hang out with us, we'll use him as an example of what we can do here on the in Blazor. I'm sure he knows all of this himself. Now, one of the other interesting things that comes up is this command here, which is called set laser position by clicking on the page. This actually controls your laser cutter. My Blazor isn't on right now, and I don't have a camera that's going to be set up to be able to do this, but by clicking on an area, let's say I want to make sure that the E is in an area of material, I can actually click in the center of it, and it will actually move that laser to that point, so I can actually turn on the laser and work out exactly where it is. This is also a very fast way of moving the laser across the work area in the machine if you need to. Maybe you need to set something up, or you want to change where the actual laser is going to start working. Maybe you've got a piece of material that's already been cut. This is a very fast way to be able to do it. So this is a tool that I use all the time. It's called Set Laser Position by clicking on the page, and you can do it anywhere you want. The next tool is a brand new tool. We're going to talk about it here, but I'm also going to show it to you a little bit later when we go through all the updates. And this is a tool that I have been waiting for a very, very long time. From the very first day that I started working with a Lightburn, I requested a measuring tool. I love to be able to work out where I've set everything up on within Lightburn. I like to work within Lightburn. I think it's a very naturalistic layout piece of software. In fact, I've even used Lightburn to work on other different types of projects. So I'll put the graphics in here, and then I'll export the graphics out and then take it to, let's say, a 3D printer or a CNC machine. And one of the things that was lacking was a measurement device, a tool. They've added that in. This is the tool. So you see this little measurement window comes up, and what you can actually do is you can actually light up an area. So in this case, you can actually see the segment length, how many nodes are involved, how many lines made it up, and it highlights the actual area that you want. So you can actually measure out, let's say, how high the letters are. So in this case, it's the segment length is 44.51, so it's pretty large. But what you can actually do as well is you can hold down, you can click, and you can see here, I was just doing a quick check, and it says 44. So I have no doubts that that was correct. And by letting it go, it just stops. So you can work out the length manually, or you can highlight them, or you can grab a point and drag it right across, so that you can actually, again, work out exactly what the dimensions of your piece is. Now, in the past, and I've discussed this in Lightburn in the stream, what I would do is, in this case, I'm just going to jump out of there. What I would have done is, if I needed this sign to be a certain sign, I would have made a triangle, and I would have put in the exact measurement. So let's say 500 by 120, right? And then what I would do is I would have taken this piece and I would have placed it in here, and then I would have scaled up everything so that it would have fit in perfectly. You don't need to do that now. You can just, as I said, go to the measurement tool, and as it highlights, it's actually going to show you what it's talking about. And it gives you all this great information: the angle, the arc radius, the center. So if you're actually, you're dealing with, let's say, this piece right here, you can see there's the arc radius, the center, the angle's not important, whether it's open or closed, whether it's going to cut out solidly or not, the area, the perimeter. To be honest with you, that's a lot of information. I don't even worry about that myself. I've used this already, where I'll just grab it and I'll go, okay, that's 20 mil. So, we're good with that. That's going to be the side that I want. The blue dot is where you have the text selected, lets you easily curve the text. Yes, Dominic, very cool, man. So we're going to talk about that as future features, but just to show you really quickly, we'll go curve, and then you can see this little dot, which is what Dominic was talking about. This is a very brand new feature, so you can actually bend and curve the text if you want. But what you can also do is attach it to a path. So I'm happy to go through and just show you what that blue dot is, since it was brought up. But we're going to do a whole deep dive on text and the effects that you can create here on Lightburn, which is going to be incredibly, I think, exciting. Because you know what? The more I learn about it, the more I go, damn, I could have used that before. I did it the old-fashioned way. Let's go back to Dominic's sign. Hello, Dominic. I like this. I'm going to cut it out, but you know what? I want to make sure, instead of having it all cut out, I want to make a border for Dominic, right? I want to frame his name as such. The next tool that we have is called Offset Shapes, and this is kind of awesome. That's exactly what it does. It brings up this offset box, and depending on what you want to do, you can see now that there is an actual offset made to it. I'm going to click off that again. You can see this is the area that I've selected. I'm going to hit that offset again, move that offset box out. You can see there's a solid line, and I can actually change that. By changing the offset distance, I can make it as wide or as big as I want. Now that's working the offset from outside the line that I want to work from. I can also do that inside, so I can have a visual, or I can do it both. So I can actually cut the outside and the inside as well as the original cut. Now, if I was going to get really, really smart about it, and I didn't want that middle part section, I just wanted to make, let's say, almost like a frame like that, and I wanted to automate it, I'd actually put my original box line on a different layer, and I would separate that and then turn that layer off. So I could actually have the frame cut out very, very quickly, very, very easily. You can also have bevel, so you can round the sides, or you can have a corner bevel. As you can see, you can have it sharp sides, or you can bevel it itself. So it has some really nice functionality in that. And you can also select the existing results. You can delete the original object. So in this case, let's say I wanted to make it as a frame. I personally don't like processes that don't allow me to go back and repeat them. But if I wanted to, and in this case, I'll show it to you, I can actually end that process, and you can see it's actually taken away that original line. I tend not to do that myself because I want to have as much flexibility. So I would actually do it that way. And as I said, I would select that and put it onto a different layer. And we're going to talk about layers in just a second. So you can see here, here's Dominic's sign. It's growing. In this case, I'm just going to manually delete it. But again, it's not too much of a problem. Now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to send that to a Lightburn, but I'm going to do something a little bit different before I do that. And that's, I'm going to give it a preview. So I want to actually see the process. And this is how Lightburn previews, it allows you can actually play it in real time. This process is going to take me 21 minutes, or I can actually speed it up. But what I actually like doing is I like scrolling through this by hand, so it allows me to go, okay, that's the words, and there's the actual border, which is great. In some cases, you might have the border cut out first. I would personally don't like doing that. I might shift or copy different areas to different layers, so that I make sure that I do all my fine detail first and the final cutout, because you want to have as much material as possible. So it's kind of neat. Malcolm's saying maybe I need to download Lightburn trial and play until I order my core. Definitely try that out, man. It's a lot of fun. You don't need to have a machine to be working with Lightburn, but it's a lot of fun. We're going to say goodbye to Dominic's sign now that we've cut it out. I'm going to stick that in the mail to him, and maybe he'll put it on his desk. And what we're going to do is we're going to go and actually grab some shapes, and I'm going to show you some of the Boolean tools. Now, I'm going to jump around a little bit here because this is a good opportunity. I have two shapes, but I want to center the shapes. I can do that a number of ways. I can do it manually by eye and just kind of drag it around, and that kind of looks like it's there for me. Or there are some alignment tools by selecting both. Oh yeah, that's cool. I never knew that you could just do it from. So that was a tip I think Mike was talking about. No, it wasn't Mike. It was Damien. So instead of selecting down, and in this case it's just the circle, if you select upwards, it selects both of them. Thank you so much, Malcolm. Is it Malcolm? No, it was Damien. Thank you so much for that tip. Again, you know what? We're all on a journey. Now, if we go up to here, which happens to be the menu here, we have aligned both vertical and horizontal characters, and we just did that with one click, and you can see it's all centered. Let's go back one step. And you also have a vertical align left, right, or horizontal. So as you can see, that's the horizontal, or that's the left, or that's the right. So again, you've got tools to automatically take those shapes and move them along, which is kind of very cool. It's a very fast way of being able to work on things. And then you also have that with top. So you can put a shape right up to the top, or to the bottom, or to the center. So we want to center that, and those three tools align both vertical and horizontal centers. Then you also have align centers vertically and then horizontally are really powerful tools you're going to use a lot. Let me just move this to the center and let me show you some of the Boolean tools, which are a lot of fun. So the first one is called weld, and that says weld all selected shapes together. So let's select those shapes, and then let's click that button, and you can see it's almost like it's in the London Tube. It's a London Tube sign. So you're able to actually take two shapes and weld them together. This allows you to create shapes very, very quickly in a very fast way in Lightburn, and it's something that I really, really enjoy. I use weld almost all the time. And again, if you put a little bit of kind of, I don't want to say subtlety, but if you start using Lightburn, you start getting in the habit of using some of the other tools that they have here, including radius. So if you wanted to create something that's, you have a radius tool here, which I really love. Let me go and see it. Unfortunately on this, because we're using it on a very low resolution so that I can stream out to you, you're not going to be able to see all of what I was hoping to do. But let's go and see. Where's my radius tool? Why is it not working? Come on. You don't like it? Oh, come on. What's going on? Oh, no, it's not going to do it. Maybe don't. You know what? We seem to be locked in the pattern here. Hang on a second. Let me go and see if I can do it now. No, it doesn't like it. Well, we'll work it. We'll move on to that. We'll show you guys that in a second. But we weren't talking about that. We were actually talking about the Boolean tools. So the next one is called Union. It's very similar to what we were working on before. So let me show you. It looks like a weld. Now, I haven't actually used this as a union, but basically it works almost in the same way as weld, except it does have some different features. And since we're here and we know about it, no, it's not going to do that for me. Whoa, let's go back to Lightburn. It's not going to show me the help page for the Boolean union. But just keep an eye on that. It does work in a slightly different way, and I personally haven't had a chance to use it. I'll use the weld, but again, I wanted to introduce you to that, and we'll talk about these 4 features in a greater depth very soon, because I want to show you how you can use those and utilize them in creative ways. So let's go and check out the next one, and this one is called the Boolean difference, and this subtracts one shape from another, and you can see there you actually now have the parts that were that weren't being covered by 2 shapes are the only thing. So again, if you're doing, I think of this as a subtraction. So let's go back. You can see here it's going to subtract not only the circle but also everything that's in there, and by hitting, oh, look at that, it did it in a different way. Haha. I wonder why it did it that way. It's the first time I've actually seen it do it that way. Oh no, it's because I hit the wrong thing, excuse me, wrong command. So that's Boolean difference, subtracts one shape from another. Then the last one was what we just did before, and that happens to be the intersection. So what you're actually able to do here is you're able to take the intersection of both pieces. So they are very, very powerful layout tools to allow you to create a shape very, very quickly. And in this case, I'm going to go and I'm going to turn this on its side. I'm just going to shrink it down a bit. Now, that wasn't exactly how I wanted to do it. So how about we rotate it 90 degrees, Gil? Oh, my rotation window has disappeared. That's okay. So what I'm doing is I'm holding Shift, and you can see it's snapping in there. So I know it's fine. I'm going to move this down, and I realize that I want to make a whole bunch of these. Now, normally, a lot of people go, that's cool, Gil. What we'll do is we'll copy and paste it. So we'll copy and paste it. Wherever I put the mouse here, it'll copy another version of it for me. So I can just, I can do it this way. I can just get enough in there and just kind of, well, I can kind of highlight these and then just move it across and keep doing like, yeah, you can do it that way. Personally, it's not how I would do it, because the next function that we're going to talk about right now is the create an array. So this is another pop-up window which gives you a horizontal and vertical ability. So you can actually create as many copies as you want, and you can actually start working with the spacing as well. So you're able to, maybe you've got to make a whole bunch of pieces and you've only got a limited amount of material. Well, you can actually keep creating as many pieces as you want. And in fact, that piece is off. So I'm going to just go in here. And then again, you can start working the vertical rows. So if, let's say, you needed to make badges or some sort of pieces, you can actually create as many as you want without any problems. And what I love about this is it's all in real time. So I can be like, okay, you know what? I want to create half of these. Okay. And I want to make another one, and let's do another one. And okay, cool. I want to go and put some other material here. So maybe I'll put, so let's say, okay. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put a big box here, and I'm going to offset the box on both by 7, and then I'll delete that first one. Okay. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go call this Emblazer convention. And then I'm going to go grab this, and I'm going to go and, yeah, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. And how about this? I don't like this, so I'm going to quickly hit Shift, and we can now scale it up. And you know what? I want it right in the center. So how about I use my new trick by grabbing all of these things, and then I'll put it in the center, which is fine. And then I'm going to move all of this onto the cutting board. And now I've got my job ready to go. And of course, before I do anything else, I'm going to go and simulate it to see how it's going to work. And I go, great, okay, there's all those pieces that I need. And then look at that, it came up with the Emblazer convention, and now it's putting the border in. So I've got all the pieces, I've got visually scanned them, fantastic. I can actually hit OK, save the image, play it, or I can actually tell it to actually send it straight to the Emblazer. So again, you've seen a really, really fast way to be able to go and create your layouts. Now, some quick questions about this in the chat. Maybe select all pickups by touching, sit down, pick, which is wherever it's entirely selected. Thank you, Mike. I like show notes under the file menu to make notes about the design. Wow, okay, let me go and check that. Under the file menu, there's show notes. Excellent. So there you go. You can actually put notes in here and you can say made for the first ever Emblazor convention. We'll do that, guys. You tell me if you want to have a convention. We'll do a whole weekend where we're cutting it, and of course you can save that to the file. So that's a very good tip as well, Mike. It depends on what order you select your shapes. Yes, it does. So that's something that you'll get used to on how you want to actually lay that out. Can you write scripts for the Lightburn? Not yet, says Dominic. I think that's going to be interesting to see what's going on. I actually haven't come into an issue yet where I've had to write a script, but again, you can see there's a very, very fast layout using these tools. Let's go and get rid of some of this stuff. Actually, you know what? Let's go save this since we're talking about using different things. So let's go save it. And I'm going to put that into the Lightburn for STEM. Cool. And then I'm going to call this Emblazor convention. And we saved that. And I'm going to show you why we saved it a little bit later when we talk about the latest updates to Lightburn. All right, so let's get rid of some of this stuff. Right. He says. And it took a second to delete it, which is fine. But I want to just grab one of these guys. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'll do a different one. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to weld both of these things together. Make a geometric shape. Actually, I'll do it that way. Cool. I'm going to delete that. Fantastic. So now I'm going to just scale this down by selecting it, grabbing the little handle. I'm going to move it, and you see how it flips back and forth. If you cross the center gradient line, you can actually flip it top to bottom and left to right. So if you ever need to mirror something, it's a very fast way of being able to work. That's what I wanted to do, and I want to leave this in here, and I want to show you the next tool that's here, and that's the circle array tool, which is pretty cool as well. So what we can actually do here is that we can actually start making copies of the center array, and we're going to actually show you. I'm going to go back all the way down, so we can actually change where it starts. We'll say 0 in this case. Let's go back, center array tool, and we're going to say copies. We're going to rotate them so they're not all on top of each other, and you can see you can start making some real generic and very interesting patterns. So we can select that. Now these images, I believe these pieces are all individual, so I can pull them back out, which is a bit of a shame. But what you can do is you can actually, again, just select them all. And hey, how about we weld them? Well, there you go. I've got myself a cog. But what if we did it a little bit differently? Like and what's interesting is you can only weld this one. Right, because there's so many things going on, you can't actually make a union of these shapes. So that's a way of being able to lay out multiple shapes, and you can get some really interesting patterns this way. Or the other thing you can do is you can change the center position. So let's go 0 and 0. And let's go, sorry, wrong one. Back to center array. Let's go and see. So now it's spinning around its own axis. Oh, it doesn't like that. Right. There you go. So you can keep changing variables. You can keep doing a whole bunch of stuff. Again, this is not a tool that I use a lot, but I'm sure some people will be able to get very artistic. I can see in classrooms, especially students, being able to use this and then being able to do a whole lot of creative stuff. Malcolm was saying, I guess all CAD programs are similar, and this reminds me a lot to AutoCAD. It seems that Lightburn learning curve is not as great as AutoCAD. No, I think this is really intuitive once you understand exactly what's going on, and it's a lot of fun. And the last couple of things that I wanted to show you was something that I was trying to do before, but for some reason it wasn't allowing me to do it, is you can actually radius. Probably because the radius is too small. Going on here? Why am I having problems with the radius tool? This hasn't happened before. Always, maybe it's maybe they've changed it here for Gil, but there's a radius tool that will allow you to put a radius onto a piece as well. Dominic, maybe if you're still around, maybe you can tell me exactly what I'm doing wrong here. Or maybe, here we go. Let's go here, I've selected it. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I used to be able to do this every single time. There's always one feature here in Lightburn that gets me going. No, I'm still not connected to it, so it's not going to allow me to do it. That's a bit of a shame. Maybe Dominic can show us, but maybe we'll come back to that. But you can actually put a radius onto a shape and kind of smooth it out. Now, very quickly, because we're going to round it up, this took a little bit longer than I expected, but I have no problem going along with you guys. I also want to show you some of the really interesting functionality here when it comes to layers. So all the colors down here are all your layers. You've got 29 of them, and you have also tool layers, which you remember I was talking about trying to work out a shape. You can actually kind of turn it into a tool layer, which is now locked. That tool layer will not be outputted. It'll allow you to kind of frame things up. This is brand new as well when it comes to using. So maybe you need to use something for a guide. You can actually now do that, and they've given us 2 tool layers to be able to do it. But instead of that, you can see everything here is on black, and if you look at the cut and the layers, you can see the mode. So there's fill and line. So a fill mode, let's go just to show you guys really quickly, to fill it and run a test. You can see you're actually taking that shape and you're just scanning across that shape. So that becomes the fill. And then what you're with a line is actually just cutting out the line. So let's go check it out here, and you can see here's the line. See, they're cutting it out, and of course there's a third one called fill and line. So you're actually filling it with color, and then you're actually burning that line across. They're the only options you have when it comes to vectors. When you bring in an image, that's something else, and I will be showing that a little bit later on. We might actually do that in another day because we are going a little bit longer than was expected. But what's really good about layers is that you can select your shape and you can put it on individual layers, and you can see I just turned that box blue. That box is now a separate layer, and I can actually change it. So maybe I want to make this box a fill, but this box a line. If I go back in here, you can actually see the results that's going on. So it'll fill it all up, but it will cut a box out in the black line. I can also select something else and create another layer. And of course, not only am I changing the modes, I can actually double click them and change the speed and the power of the laser. And I can also change the number of passes, the offsets, and even the perforation modes. It gives you a lot of options. Now, a lot of people say, wow, why do I have 29 layers? That's not going to be enough. Those layers are key to being able to create whatever it is you want to create. And in fact, you can see on this red layer, the output is off, but if I actually turn it on, you can actually see it right there. And also, you've got options here. So you've got show. I love the fact that now you've got an option to actually turn on your error assist as well. This is brand new in the last couple of versions, but you can actually make these areas disappear. That's just showing it on your workbench, because if you come back in here, they are still active. So again, it gives you an ability. I've seen people get caught up with using the show toggle. I usually use the output toggle. It just kind of fades out in gray. And in this case, let's go to the preview, and you can see it's just going to make that one box that is visible in red. So those layers are really, really super keen. Really super keen. Click the corner. Oh, is that what I'm doing? Convert the square to a curve. All right, let's go and see that. Let's see what I was doing wrong. Let's go pick this one since it's active. What was I doing wrong? What was I doing wrong? Let me go, and I bet you it was. I haven't used this in a while. There you go. It was the corner. So there you go. So what you can do is with the radius, it's just been a while since I've used it, is that you can increase the radius and then just hit the corner, and you can start building some really interesting shapes that way as well. Thank you so much. Who said pick the corner? Mike. Of course. Thank you so much, Mike. And Malcolm, you're right too. A biggest radius makes it a little easier. Like Mike said, click the corner if you want to radius. You know what? Sometimes, maybe Dom's going to be like, dude, this guy's making us look bad. But you know what? Sometimes you use some things a lot and some other things you don't. So let's go and put some more radiuses on here. So it's kind of interesting. All right, there's one radius. There's another one. So that's the creation tool set that's just on the left hand side, and also we're going to go into a deeper work around, well, not walk around, but we're going to go into what you can actually do with layers and why they are so amazing in this program, because you can start layering up different effects and then kind of merging them in when you actually run the cut. So that is pretty amazing. Now, I do want to go through some of the changes and some of the updates on the latest version of Lightburn. So hang in there. I'm going to go see whether or not, let's see if this will work. We're back. Oh, we are back. Every time I get onto my Mac, it's a different type of set, working with two different types of machines, seeing if they work together. And as much as I love Lightburn, there's a certain amount of pressure that comes in when you're trying to do something live and everyone's watching. We all learn, yeah, that's cool. We all learn and share together. Absolutely, man. That's exactly what we do. Now, I want to talk to you guys quickly about the Lightburn upgrade, or the upgrade to the latest version of Lightburn. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I think they're really, really important. And again, we're going to go jump back to the Mac and take a look at some of these things. So the Lightburn has now gone to 9.21. And they have a number of feature updates. The biggest one, which I can't actually show you, but I want you guys to be aware of it, there's a new file format for Lightburn. So they're calling this the Lightburn 2 file format, which actually ends up giving you a smaller size file with a much faster loading speed. So you can load a file up to 4 times as fast and actually shrink that down to a fourth on the space of on your computer. And that's pretty amazing stuff, because you know what, if you've got a older computer hooked up to your laser, that is, you can start using older equipment without losing lag time when you're actually loading things up. So that is really, really great. And of course, you get more storage space, so you can keep creating. And I think that's, again, really, really amazing. So, if you want to go and take a look at some size files, of course, you can bring in the older files. But once you do load it up into Lightburn, it converts it into this new Lightburn 2 file format. So it's very interesting. We also have multi-image scanning. This is really interesting. Now you can print images all at the same time instead of printing them one at a time. And this can save you a whole bunch of time when running a job. So let me jump back over to my machine here. You can see it here, and I'm going to go import. I grabbed my wrong mouse because I've got 2 of them now. So let's go and import an image. And in this case, we're going to import the Lightburn logo. So here we go. We've got it right here. And we're going to use some of the tools we just learned, like the array tool. So we're going to go and make a number of copies. Now I'm going to, why is that still there? Whoa. No, let me go reverse that. Where is this image? The output, where is it? I want to get rid of that. Hang on a second. Let's move these guys here. Oh, okay. We must have something there. Not too sure where it went. That's okay. You know what? Just for the sake of completion, let's go make a new file. We're not going to save that. Let's go import that file again. I don't know where that layer went, and I just don't want it to mess me up. So let's go here. Let's do this again. We move this down. Let's go make an array. Great. So now we've got this. It's an image. It's all set up. If I go to preview and we start scanning through, you can see it scans one image at a time. And this actually, this can take a bit of time because you're just using one image at a time. What you can now do is you can go in here, and there's a new setting just down here that says fill all shapes at once. And this, by clicking it on, just changes the game. In this case now, he says if it actually does it. Let me go. There we go. Oh, let me go and select all of them. I don't know why it didn't. Thank you. All right. It's still stuck in that mode. All right. It's it's not doing it the way I wanted to do it, which is kind of weird. Let's change it onto another. I did this once before. This is individually. Let's do it all at once. Thank you. It was my mistake. check this out. Now, all right. So you know what I'm going to do? This is the Gil Poznanski trick of all time. This is how I get out of problems with Lightburn. I turn it off, I quit Lightburn, and I do it all over again. For some reason, it must have had a bit of a glitch. It's actually not doing exactly what I wanted to do, and of course, you know, I feel a little bit like Steve Jobs. You know, when he was showing the iPhone for the first time, there was one area that would have like glitched out, and I think that's kind of how I'm feeling it. I'm going to try it once more. I did this just before we went on. It worked fine. So of course, you know, it's going to mess it, you know, well, it's okay. You know what? The show must go on. Isn't that what they always say? All right, let's try this again. We'll do it here. We'll put an array. I'm going to record these next time and just, you know, when it works, I'm just going to play that. So let's fill all shapes together. There we go. There we go. So now you can see as it's coming up, it's actually scanning every image at a time, at the same time, as opposed to what was happening before, which is fill shapes individually. We'll hit OK. Let's see if this will come up as well. There you go. So that's the way it was locked on before. So you've actually got now an option. If you're doing a lot of graphics and a lot of scanning, you can actually go and do that. And you can actually get it all to burn it all at the same time. And you can actually do that by filling all the shapes at once. Or if you have them grouped in different areas, you can also do it as a group. We haven't gone through groups yet. We're definitely going to do that next session. But you can actually group certain sections and then actually get them to fill them all together, which can save you a lot of time. But that is an amazing breakthrough, and I'm really glad that they put that in there. And you can see, as you can see, the elements, the emblem for Lightburn was actually doing what I was hoping it to do. It didn't make me look too bad. Whew. Sometimes we get there at the end. Sometimes it just takes a quick reset. I don't know why, but it's just the way it works. Let's move on to the new feature, another new feature, and that's better handling of transparent images. So using the same fill shapes individually or fill them all at once, Lightburn used to have a bit of an issue when it came to dealing with transparent images. So I'm gonna do this live again and hold my breath and make sure that it all works out. And you can see there's fill shapes individually, fill shapes at once. So I'm gonna go and back to the Mac. Let's see if we can get this working. So here we are. I'm going to go and import another image. Now this is an image that that is a transparent image, and this is my friend the penguin. And you can see here if we copy him, and I'm just going to turn him to the side, and I'm going to let's do this in a different. Hold on a second. Let's do this in a different way. Let's do it that way. And we're gonna have like one on top of another. So let's go back to the image, and we can see that it's all shapes at once. Let's go to the preview, and you can see that it doesn't really, like his flipper right here, it's not see-through at all. It's actually, you know, we've superimposed one image over another, and that may be the effect that you want. That may be perfect for what you want to do, but sometimes if you're using transparent, maybe it's a transparent text, or maybe it's an emblem or logo, you don't want one thing superimposing over the other. Well, now, one of the great side effects for fill shapes individually is that if you come back in here, you can actually see that the shapes are now see-through. So instead of doing it if you want to do it as a group, it will make those shapes solid. But if you want to do it as an individual, you can actually then go and actually run that process. And that gives you a lot of options here on Lightburn. So again, that's the individual. But if you do it as a group, you can actually get a very clean image straight away. And again, that just gives you a little bit more options on how you want to actually lay out your graphics. So that is another amazing new feature that they've put on Lightburn, multi-image scanning. I was very impressed when I saw that, and it is a very, very cool feature here on Lightburn. Let's go and keep moving on. So that was the transparency. Now let's go on to the next one. And this happens to be another feature that I absolutely love. And this is being able to adjust your image controls on an image in a new window that allows you to take a look at your original image and the settings that you've touched in Lightburn. So now you can fine tune your images directly in Lightburn. You can change the gamma, contrast, brightness, as well as the image mode and even the DPI while comparing it to your original source. So let's jump back over again to my friend the Mac computer and Lightburn. Here we are. Let's go in and import an image, and in this case I'm going to use the same image. That happens to be the thumbnail that I used for this very live stream. So let's say I want to go and engrave that onto something. I think the image looks pretty good, but if you right click, you can see there's a new tab called Adjust Image. And if I bring that up here, you can see you have the original image on the left and the adjusted image on the right. So mainly the main thing here is it's actually changed the image mode that was on Stucky, and we'll use Stucky because it's well, it's Oz's favorite image mode. You can do things like you can make the image negative. Let's say if you were going to put it onto a tile and you wanted the white to be black and all the rest of it, you can do that quite easily. You can change the DPI, you can increase it to make it a little bit more crisper. But what I like here is these oh, excuse me, you can actually move it around, and you can also go straight in, so you can actually see this is the original one and this is what it has been processed. These layer settings are only being changed to the layer of the image. So these are the layers, so you could go into layer and deal with it, but these are the image settings, and they are available on Lightburn. I'll show you how to get them. They are a little bit tricky. This is a lot easier. So let's say I want to make this image a little bit contrasty, but that's a little bit too much. Let's go over here and take a look. So I want to change that brightness down just a little bit, but I want to bring the contrast up just a little bit. My face is burning out a little bit, so let's play with the gamma just a touch. And I'm going to enhance that. I'm going to get an enhancement radius going up there, and I want to bring that up. And look at that, all the stars on my shirt coming up, but my face is just broken up. That's okay. A lot of people would say it's probably the best way I looked. But then again, you can see here, and I can just move that along. I like the stars. The image looks good. I can zoom in and see there's my DPI layer. Maybe the layer mode, I'm not going to do that. Maybe I'm going to do it as a newsprint. Let's go back out. Oh, actually, newsprint looks a lot better. So I might do that way. Want to put it on a tile? There's my negative image. If not, I'm going to hit OK. I'm happy with that. And now that image has been, those changes have been applied directly to the image. This is incredibly, incredibly fast. Good when lining up horizontally. Yeah, it is really, really good to be able to do this sort of stuff. Now, I wanted to show you the image options. I can still get into here. I can change the modes. I can change a number of different things, the DPI. I can do all of that sort of stuff. If I want to change this without going into adjust image as we did before, if I don't want to do it this way, the only other way for me to be able to do it is to go into the window here and actually pull out, I believe it is shape properties, which I already pulled out. So here's the shape properties, and I can actually, again, I can change the brightness, I can change the enhance rate and all the rest of it, but I don't get that original compare with the file that I brought in that it gives me in adjust image. So adjust image, I think, is one of these things that I'm going to be playing with quite a bit, especially when it comes to taking images in. I really like that. The only thing that's missing from here that I would suggest is a reset button. I don't have a way of being able to reset all these image settings straight away. It'd be kind of cool if there was an image button here. If I hit cancel and go back in, I've already set those settings up. So that's something that I'd like to see added in there. But I think this is a step right in the right direction, and I really like what's going on with this new piece. So you know what? That's definitely something that I think that a lot of people are going to be using. I think it's a really, really good piece of interface. It's more the graphic interface here, the GI, and I think it's really cool. Adrian, how you doing, man? I'm really good to see you. This one's going a little bit long, where we've gone almost an hour and a half. We're coming towards the end. I think you might enjoy some of the things we're talking about, but it's good to see you, Adrian. I hope you're having a great day. Now, the other thing we already started discussing, and that was the measurement tool. So you know what? This is the tool that everyone's been asking for. We did go through it a little bit earlier. I'm not going to go through it again because we did spend some time with it. But that measurement tool, when it comes to Lightburn's feature, is amazing. It is really incredible that you should be able to do that without having to build another kind of tool layer, or previously to the tool layers where you actually had to dedicate a layer that you'd turn off and get fiddly with boxes and all the rest of it. The measurement tool allows you not only to measure whatever area that you want to define, but also the area within the vectors, the lines, curves, you name it, all that information is there. So I'm really, really impressed that on this latest update to Lightburn, we started off looking at a lot of the real basic stuff with Lightburn, because as I said, we're going to go and do a little bit every live stream, and go and kind of research and play with some of the tools. We're going to go through some of that in the future. If you enjoyed what's going on here, absolutely, we're going to come back and do a lot more of that sort of stuff. And we're also going to start, what I'm really excited about is I'm going to start building in real time some of these projects in Lightburn to show you how you were able to do it. So it's kind of exciting. Something else that I've started doing here now in this year, because there's been some requests, is that if you want to be working on a project yourself, or you want to work on a project that you're stuck with, I actually offer virtual classes and one-on-one tuition. Those sessions are now open. If you're interested, send me an email at laser.livestream@gmail.com. I'm always interested in seeing how people work and how people use this equipment in many different ways. So by all means, feel free to drop a line and let's see whether or not we can work together virtually. It keeps the cost down for people who are not local for me, but it also inspires me to be able to come out and share what those projects are and help people over the hurdles that they're running into. I want to thank everyone for coming in here. It has been amazing. You guys, I know normally we do an hour stream. They've been going longer because I'm just so excited about a lot of the stuff that we're sharing with you guys. And you know what? I think it's going to be an amazing ride. We're going to continue with that. I also really want to thank, again, Darkly Labs and Lightburn. If you haven't been there, if you haven't played with Lightburn, go down, get a copy. I think it's you get 30 days, I believe, or to play with it without getting a license. The great thing is that if you get yourself an Emblazer, the Emblazer comes along with a Lightburn license, so you can just plug that license into Lightburn and just continue working. Both Darkly Labs and Lightburn, I'm telling you, they have been a godsend. The amount of work to prepare this sort of stuff, it was getting to a point where I wasn't able to dedicate the time that I wanted to. So I want to thank them, both of them, for actually being able to let these live streams keep going. If you've enjoyed what's going on, guys, give this a thumbs up. The more thumbs up, the more comments that you put in there, give me the analytics to be able to share this out to everyone. And before we go, does anyone have any questions? I know we're going a little bit long, but that's okay. That's okay. Thanks, Gil and all. Have to go to another meeting tonight. I totally understand what you're saying. Everton, I hope you had a great time. Mike, Dom, who else is around here? Malcolm, if you're still around, if you've got any questions, probably going to take about 30 seconds, so I'm more than happy to hang around to do that. But you know what? It's amazing to be. I believe that if you want to learn something, you got to learn how to learn it to be able to teach it. And you guys give me the inspiration to go and learn all of these things. So I want to thank all of you as well for being able to come on board and be able to use it. I'm just hoping, and the more I do these live streams, especially with doing it live, doing these kind of lessons, that I'll be able to do it without going, why didn't that work that time? And what's going on? Lightburn can be a little bit tricky, and I've seen that actually happen with a lot of new users as well. It's still an incredible program. It's an excellent way for people to be able to create things. The other versions, I'm not going to say names of other different laser type pieces of software. You know what? You got to invest a large amount of money, and that's the other thing that I didn't mention. If you don't have an Emblazer, but you want to use Lightburn on maybe your own laser, you're talking about software that's under $100. It is just amazing to be able to see. So, guys, you know what? Grab a copy of Lightburn, or jump onto your Emblazers and try some of the things that I showed out. Let me know how it goes. in the Facebook group, and we're going to come back in 2 weeks' time. We're going to go do this all over again. We're going to show some of the projects you've done. We're also going to jump in and talk a little bit more about the Emblazer, and then we're going to do a quick deep dive also on Lightburn. So guys, thank you so much. Dominic, thank you so much for being here. Mike's saying great work. Thank you so much. Malcolm's inspired to go and download a trial and have a play. Guys, I wish you all a fantastic week. This is Easter, so happy Easter. Hope you all get some downtime. I hope you get to play with your lasers, and I hope you get to share what you create with it. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to be here in 2 weeks' time. Love if you guys could come over to Facebook, and I will see you all really soon. Take care, God bless, and just go make something amazing. See you soon.